What's up, Nile? How you doing?
I'm doing good, Jordan. How are you, man?
Dude, I'm doing great. It's been forever. Like, I haven't seen you since we graduated, basically.
Oh yeah, man. Like it's been a really long time. We didn't see each other as much after baseball season.
Yeah, not at all. We're all really.
Yeah, cause like even though we were both in you were in Metsa, right?
No, I wasn't.
Oh dang, I don't know. I thought you were in Metsa. I know I saw you in the building a couple times.
Yeah, 'cause I had classes there.
Oh okay, that makes a lot of sense. Well, yeah, that's probably why. Cause like most of
Most
my
people
classes.
will know what we're talking about. It's just school. If you know, you know. We're not gonna explain this
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, it's a lot to explain. Our school has like different academies and stuff.
Yeah. So, how you been, man?
Dude, I've been okay. Been really excited. Just been training. Um, Not so much lately because I hurt my knee. I have an MCL strain or sprain or one or the other. So I've been walking around with a brace on. But yeah, other than that, man, I've been great. How about
How'd you
you?
fuck up the knee?
Uh,
Man, you're gonna start asking this already.
so, um, yeah, man, I was just training. I was swimming and running every day. On top of like calisthenics and stuff for what I'm training for. And the doctor said I just overworked it. I was just doing too much at one time. I was advised not to do it, but I'm hard headed. I can be hard headed sometimes. I'm young and dumb.
Yeah, it makes sense. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm also the same way. I can be sick. I'm like, yeah, fuck this. I'm not gonna sit around and do nothing. I'm still gonna like show up to work or like do whatever.
Yeah. I've always been that kind of way. Like if I'm sick, man, like I'm going to work. Like I'm not that sick to where I can't work and make money.
Mm. Yeah, sometimes it is good to be lazy because I'm too lazy not to go. 'Cause then I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to do twice the amount of work or whatever it is.
Right, exactly. Like I almost never tried to miss school. Well, back when we were in high school because I was like I do not want to be behind on work or assignments or whatever because it seems like an eternity to catch up to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it really is. So what have you been up to like since high school? You're wearing a U.S. Air Force shirt, so you told me about this before like we started. So
Yeah.
just like
I got you.
how's that going?
Man, it's going pretty good. After high school, I had a little bit of an ultimatum. I had some opportunities to play at the next level, in college for football and one for wrestling. And I was gonna start from the beginning. I hope you don't mind.
Go for it.
And my mom, I told her I was like, Mom, I think I want to join the military. You know,
Mm.
and she was like, Well, why'd you want to do that? She didn't have a problem with it. I'm gonna come from a military family,
Mm.
but my mom, before I got to high school, gave me an option to rather go to a military school. Like, hey, if you want to be in the military, by the time you graduate high school, you'll possibly be at like an officer rank. I was like, I don't want to do that. No, I'm not going to military, Mom. Now she's like, well, we wasted all this time and you had an opportunity, and now you can't do that. And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. At the time, like I was just like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, what branch? Because I have like uncles and cousins on both sides, my mom and my dad's side.
They're just all over the
Yeah.
military.
Yeah, exactly, all over the military. But most of them are Marines and Army.
Mm.
And my mom was just like, no, you're not going. I was like, Mom, I want to go to the Marines. I want to be, MARSOC, Marine Raiders, Special Forces, all that kind of stuff. And my mom was like, no, you're not doing that. Like, I'm 18. In my head, I'm thinking, well, I'm gonna do what I want to do. But that's Mom.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll hear her out because it's my mom. So,
Right.
she's like, nah, think about it. Like, what are you gonna like do with that? Like, what are you gonna do after the military by kicking down doors and doing the grunt work, the gritty work?
Mm.
And I couldn't give her an answer. So my mom was like, how about the Air Force or the Navy? And I was like, okay, well, I don't really mind the Navy, but the SEALs sound pretty cool. I was like, why don't you do something like technology, And I was like, Mom, that's not really my thing. I like technology. I think it's cool, but it's not something I can sit down and do all day, and work on. So I was like, no, Mom, I don't. She's like, well, you should really do the Air Force. And I was like, the Air Force? No, like, that's not what I want to do. I just told you I don't want to be around technology or sitting behind a desk. They call the Air Force the chair force. It's like a really big
Yeah, I've heard
joke.
of that.
Yeah, everyone's heard it at least once or twice. But I said no, and you know what? I sat down, I thought about it for a couple days. I remember when I was maybe about 10 or 11, 12 maybe, Discovery Channel had this documentary that came out called Inside Combat Rescue. I had for the longest, man. I loved the military as a kid. I dressed up playing with like toy guns and like camo clothes and stuff like that with backyard with my friends. And I had no idea that the Air Force had special forces until me watching that. And I said, hey, Mom, I think I want to do this career field. She's like, aren't you going to be in helicopters? I said, yeah. She's like, no, you're not doing it. And I was like, looked at her, I was like, Mom, at this point, it's like, we can make like a compromise, you know? Like I want to do the Marines. I want to go bust down doors. I want to kick stuff down. And be Marsoc, be cool. And cool. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah. And my mom was like, "Well, no, I don't want you doing that." So okay, well, if I go to the Air Force, you know, let me do that job, you know? And she was like, "Okay. Okay. We're doing this." And for a while, I was just stuck on my decision, you know, because of the options I had for college. I was kind of stuck. I had some people that were real close to me help me out with that. Miss Kim, Miss Bourne, you know, people like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I finally just made my decision. No, you know, and I was like, this is what I want to do. This was my calling. And I went up. My mom asked me, it's like, why do you want to do this job that involves like saving people in the Air Force? And I kind of sat back and thought about it. And I was like, you know, I don't want to. First of all, I'd like to say that every job that's done in the military across all branches, Coast Guard, National Guard, is 100% important. Everything plays its part, you know. I'm not trying to undermine any other job, you know. I told her that I don't want to go out into battle or to combat and do all these crazy cool things you see in movies and stuff and say that that's all I did in a sense, you know. Like I have a really close relationship with God. I like to believe I do. Well, I know I do. And I don't want to say that in a really brutal way of saying it, I don't want to say that I went throughout combat killing people for the right reason, of course, but that's not all I want to do. I was like, Mom, I want my purpose to be saving people and, you know, having to take a life if I need to save someone else's life. You know what I'm saying? And I know that's what you do indirectly with taking out terrorists and people that are trying to hurt the world. You do that indirectly by doing that, but I want to do it directly. Like I want to come back and say like, yes, I saved this person. I saved this person, like morally, you know?
Yeah.
Because you don't know how that's going to affect your brain when everything's over. You know, guys have PTSD and all kinds of things. And I felt like that would just soften that load up, you know, mentally on me. So that was my reason. Medical stuff has always kind of showed a little interest for me. I was a lifeguard when I was 16. I worked at, you know, the wreck up the street. And when I was there, I was like, I took it like super serious. You know, like when I was on stand, I was serious. Had my glasses on, head was constantly on the swivel, you know. But it didn't. I knew that I was there to like save someone if they, you know, were possibly to drown, but it didn't hit me until I, you know, met this little boy that was in the pool, and maybe he was maybe about 5 or 6, and his mom was standing there, but she was facing the other direction, you know, something that we literally like learned about in lifeguard class, you know, it happens all the time. And this kid just like started like drowning, but when people drown, since water gets in their mouth, they can't really talk or scream. They splash, right?
Yeah.
Since there's a bunch of people in the pool, there's splashing going on everywhere. And I noticed it. I jumped in the water and, you know, I did like normal procedure and I got him out the water and someone had to get on stand for me, you know. We checked him out, you know, I make sure he didn't hit his head or anything, something I may not have seen, anything like that. And like, that's when I kind of had a feeling that I wanted to save people, but it wasn't aware to me yet. And
that was when it hit, basically.
Yeah.
That moment.
Yeah, that's kind of when it hit. Exactly. And like I said, that was like when I was about 16. And then stuff happened later throughout life. There's something that happened at prom my junior year and a bunch of other stuff I won't get into that put me in a situation to where I was in a, you know, opportunity to save somebody and help them. And I didn't want to be in the position out there in the battlefield to where I could look at somebody that's hurt one of my teammates and not know what to do. You know, I just, there's something inside me that just won't let it happen. Anyway, so fast forward a little bit, I go talk to the recruiter, go through MEPS, which is like the military, like physical. They do like eye tests, you know, hearing tests, motor skills, all that kind of stuff. We're here for like 13 hours, by the way. And the one here in Dallas, there's no windows for about 10 hours. I didn't see the sunlight for 10 hours, man. It was fucking ridiculous. But and then I met my special warfare recruiter, and I met the developer here in Dallas, who are two outstanding men, absolutely amazing guys, who have helped me come along my way and train and get better. Teach me how to swim, because a lot of people don't know that you swim in the Air Force. you swim in the Air Force. Okay, for my career field,
So much for the chair force.
so the chair force, right? Right? You know, I get that joke from people, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever. That's not what I'm doing, but I get the joke. But yeah, man, that's just how the military thing's been going on. Like I said, I hurt my knee, so that's all kind of on pause. I've just been doing like calisthenics and stuff. I've been trying to swim, but yeah.
Yeah, it feels like so much whenever people hear military, they automatically think like the movies. You go out shooting people and whatever.
Dude.
Like, how does that make you feel that you're getting into that? Because like veterans are obviously gonna have like their own perspective, but you as a recruit,
Right.
and like as you starting out, how does that make you see that perspective of it?
It's kind of one of those situations. I've trained under a couple guys, a couple like special operations operators like active right now. I'm not gonna say any names, obviously, but
No, you're fine.
yeah. Who I've asked that question to, and it's not something that you want to ask somebody like out on the street, like, you know, have you killed anybody or how's combat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not a normal question you want to ask, but he told me and the group that he was help training, he was like, hey man, feel free to ask me anything, literally anything. He's like, I believe you guys are gonna be out there doing it, so even if I'm uncomfortable talking about it, I'll give you as much as I can handle telling you, because I feel like it'll be helpful for you if, you know, when you get there. So, it's kind of something that I feel like I won't understand till I really get there, you know? But like I said, as a kid, I was doing all that kind of stuff. I wanted to go out and,
Oh, yeah, it's like
America.
everyone at one point. See,
Yeah.
like, man, I want to do that. Shit.
Yeah,
Like, blow,
you know.
blow stuff up.
yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
Do all the cool, you know, video game
Yeah.
stuff. But, coming into like reality, like as an adult, I know that it's something that definitely doesn't come without its mental challenges. But I believe that, you know, through God, my family and my brothers and, you know, the instructors of when I get there that are going to train me for 2 years. That's how long my training is, roughly 2 years, that I'll be prepared as much as I can be without being in it yet, you know?
Right.
So that's how I feel about that. We do a lot of, what's called water confidence. It's called WaterCon for short. I post like a lot of it on my Instagram, where it's not just swimming, right? Every exercise is meant to test you mentally. And I personally think it leads into, you know, what you were asking about with the, excuse me, asking about with like how you feel about like the battlefield, you know, because like we do this exercise called underwater. It's kind of like a warm up, right? Where it's pretty much holding your breath, swimming from one side of the pool to the other. It's like 25 meters, right? Without coming up to take a breath. You do like a specific stroke. It's called a keyhole stroke. We do stuff like that, and you do them at a fast pace almost. And it's really testing, because, you know, like when you feel, if you're holding your breath long enough, you feel like that, you know, like in your body. Yeah. We call it a guppy because you let out a little bit of air, like a little guppy. But that, you still have like 30 seconds of air left. A lot of people don't know that. So if you just like stay calm and breathe, I know you can't really breathe, but like you learn
Just,
to
like calm.
Yeah, you learn to just like relax your body and continue. You'll make it. We do that. We do what's called buddy breathing, which you guys can Google if you want. It's when, you know, two people have their heads next to each other, all on each other, and you guys pass a snorkel between each other, and it's like there's a bunch of splashing and all different types of harassment that we go through. And the key is if you stay calm and stuff while you do it, you'll make it through. It still sucks. It's definitely not fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not fun, but it's definitely something I consider myself to be stronger at than like on land. Yeah. So that I think that helps us get ready for like when chaos is going on around you. You need to be able to sit down, stay focused, and be able to do something as simple as pass a snorkel. Because those, when you like adrenaline hits and you start to panic, those I think it's called gross motor skills, which are like simple stuff, it becomes almost like difficult for your body because the adrenaline pumping through your hands and you're shaking and all kinds of stuff. So just something as simple as this, and remembering that someone else has to breathe because you're both underwater. So I have to take a breath. I can't take one too long because the longer I take my breath, the less like my buddy has time to breathe. He's holding his breath while I'm taking my breath, you know? So all that kind of stuff I believe translates into training into when you get to the battlefield.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also like with the water, like a lot of people panic because either they don't know how to swim or they'll just start like thinking like, oh shit, I'm gonna die, you know, I'm gonna drown.
Yeah,
and that's that's when it really happens. Cause like heartbeat starts to like accelerate. You start to use up more
Yeah.
oxygen.
Yeah, exactly. That's the science behind it all. Actually, one of my guys that's in um prep school right now for right before selection, he actually challenged me one day at water confidence because we do water confidence outside of our official DEP training, which is like a delayed entry program.
Yeah.
We do train like outside because in our delayed entry program they technically can't put us through water confidence. It's too dangerous. So we're like, okay, we'll just get a group of each other together, go out on Mondays and just do it our own.
Yeah.
He was like, man, I'm going to swim a 50-meter underwater, which is like one breath start at the wall, swim to the wall, and then swim back, right? Which is challenging. And he's like, right before he did it, he's like, hey, Nile, you going to do this underwater with me? And anyone that's played sports with me, it's like, I'm not going to say no to a challenge. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it with you. So I do it, and as I'm swimming, I get to the wall, the first wall, and right when I turn back around, I say, okay, this is kind of hard. But I'm in that moment, I'm just thinking of a song, which helps me out a lot. It's a song I think about. And I'm swimming, okay, maybe about 10 feet from the wall. I don't see anything,
Shit.
okay? I don't see anything. While it's happening, like you said, the heartbeat starts to get higher and stuff, but I'm kind of forcing myself to like stay calm because I know that like there's a part in the keyhole stroke where you have to be like completely still and just let yourself glide. And that glide is to allow your body like not to use up so much oxygen so you're not stroking the entire time. You stroke the entire time using muscles, using oxygen,
Yeah.
So in that glide, the hard part is not to move because the more you are not to tense up either because if you tense up, right, you're still like your muscles are still tightening, so you're still using oxygen. So you have to stay relaxed but stay straight so you stay fluid throughout the water, And I'm thinking that I'm like, man, my chest hurts like crazy, but I'm just like, I'm not gonna panic. I'm not gonna come up to breathe. I told him, I said, man, guys, watch me because I'll pass out before I come up. And 10 feet before I see the wall, I just stopped seeing everything. It felt like I blinked. I didn't see anything. And when I woke up, right, I was just like on the wall, holding my friend's ankles. And I'm just like, what just happened? And they're just looking at me like, wait, what? And I was like, man, did I make it? Like, did I make it to the wall? That's the first thing I said.
Yeah, you just like blacked out.
Yeah, I blacked out. And I was like, I don't care what happened. I said, did I make it? Did I touch the wall? Like, yeah, you touched the wall. You don't remember? I was like, no. And apparently, I don't know what happened, but apparently what they told me, when I stopped seeing after that 10 feet, I continued to stroke and I seemed fine. But when I came up to the wall, you get that lack of oxygen, the brain goes into like a certain mode, and I started like seizing and convulsing. I was like,
Yeah.
And then I panicked and grabbed my friend's legs. I was breathing hard, and that's when I went to the seizing. And then I kind of just stopped. And they said 3 seconds later, I woke up and I was like, did I make it? That's why they're looking at me so confused. Like, dude, you were just like spazzing. Like, are you okay? So yeah, that goes back to just like the staying calm thing. If that was probably the most peaceful drowning we'll ever be. I know it's weird to hear.
That is.
Yeah, it's weird to hear, but like me staying calm stopped me from like having like a worse experience of drowning, I guess, because I just saw colors and then that was it.
Yeah.
I woke up and I was like, did I make it? So, yeah. So definitely, like you were saying, like staying calm is a really big part of it.
Have you heard of Iceman?
Iceman?
Yeah, I forgot what his name is, but it's some man from like Poland. He's broken so many records, like from like either holding his breath underwater, swimming in below freezing waters.
Oh, no.
You really never heard of him?
No, when you heard Iceman, I thought of
like the one.
I thought about MMA.
Oh really?
Yeah, like cause man, what's his name? He fought my old instructor. He has a mohawk and has like that Texan style beard. He's from California. Man, I wish I could remember his name. Anyways, but that's his cage name is Iceman.
Oh really?
Yeah, but yeah, tell me more about that guy. That's interesting. I'm actually like quite curious.
Yeah, I forgot what his name was. So if you just look up MMA in Poland, and he's broken so many records, and like I remember there was this one test he did where they injected him and a few of his students, like some sort of virus or something it was, and literally by using his mind, by thought, because that's his sole process of it. He claims that by just having like the correct mindset, we
Right.
can survive the below freezing temperatures.
Wow.
And apparently they injected him with this virus. I forgot what it was, and like within a few days, like it was cured.
What? You know, man, I don't doubt that at all. Like,
Yeah.
they say that there's like unspoken or undiscovered feats about the human brain, but I 100% believe that. Like the human brain, after my experience, I was like, man, I wonder what else I can do if I just relax. You know, relaxing is a big part of it.
Yeah, I'm looking him up right now. Like, so you've probably seen him, or probably Wim Hof. That's his name.
Well, oh yeah, yeah,
Wim
yeah,
Hof. You've
yeah,
heard
yeah.
of him?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's him.
Oh yeah, I've seen. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've seen this guy.
Yeah,
I've
you have
this guy.
seen him.
Yeah, and I knew he did like, I've seen him, but like I've heard of stuff that he's done, but like no one's ever told me a name tied to it. You know?
Yeah.
Like, they said like, oh, you hear about that guy? It's like, well, what's his name?
Yeah,
no one can tell
like,
me.
Another one he did is apparently climb Mount Everest without oxygen, like literally in his
Whoa.
shorts.
In his shorts.
In his shorts.
Man, that one. I mean, like Mount Everest is something all on its own. Like that's a whole other beast.
29,000 feet up. That's how high planes fly.
Yeah, exactly. Man, I don't. Man, that one. I mean, hey, man, if he did, man, power to him.
He knowing him, because I've seen like interviews with him.
Right.
He's probably like, it's believable. Like, I'll believe it.
Oh man, like that. I mean, that guy's got a certain kind of anointing, man. That right there. That's,
yeah, and then
that's
he has like these week-long like courses he does for students, and pretty much all they do is just meditate.
Oh yeah,
like,
man.
that's all it is. Like meditation, breathing exercises. I know, like the first day, like literally I forgot what channel it was. Like there was some sort of documentary a while ago. It's like a group of guys that went up there with him to
Right.
like his school, and literally the first day, threw him in. It was like in January, December, so in Poland, just like freezing cold.
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah,
yeah. Poland's cold.
yeah, like the first day, he literally threw him in like his shorts in freezing cold water, and he made him stay there for 10 minutes. It was like a whole group of guys, including him, and he made him stay there.
Oh
yeah, and they all did it.
Dude, I don't
like without any like breathing exercise, without any of the training. Just here, go in the water, survive for 10 minutes, get out.
Yeah, there's something,
and they did it.
Yeah, I mean, I that I 100% believe, because a lot of people that I've met in the special operations community tell me when you go to like SEER school, which is SEER is survive, escape, resistance, and evasion, or the E's may be mixed up. But anyways, that's what it means, and it's basically like survival school. Like if you get captured, you know what to say, know how to like psychologically like handle your captors to benefit your situation.
Yeah, I've seen that. I read about it.
Yeah, exactly. And they do stuff like that. Like yeah, like there's a lot of stuff I don't know, because
you have to.
Yeah, you have to, exactly. I don't know if it's 10 minutes, but I've definitely seen like videos and talked to guys told me they've been just like in the ice cap and brought up, you know.
Yeah.
They say after a while everything just goes numb. At that point you're just like shaking, but you don't know why you're shaking. It's probably really frustrating. I'll have to go through that, but I'll get there when I get there.
Dude, I've honestly wanted to try that. And also another thing you said that helps, and I actually started doing it, or like I've been doing it for a while now, but I still get lazy sometimes. Cold showers.
Cold showers, yeah.
Like they help out so much. Not only just like they're relaxing, like it loosens up the muscles.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's like one of the easiest ways to get your body into
like
a recovery state. Like I was doing CrossFit a while back, and my coach there, he's a really cool guy. He was telling me how 30 seconds of, I believe it's 30 seconds of cold water, like freezing cold water. You do that, and then you do 30 seconds of hot water, like as hard as you can bear it. And you do that for 5 minutes.
You just like switch back and forth.
And you switch back and forth. I tried it once, man, and it seems like every hard workout I'm going to go through in the future, I will definitely be doing that, because the recovery is noticeable, honestly.
Yeah, it's just, I don't even know. And then even then it makes you feel better. Like knowing, like I'm going to take, like even before you start like preparing yourself, like I'm about to take this freezing cold shower.
Oh, yeah, man.
Like try to sit in there for 5 minutes or whatever your goal is. And after that, you feel even better. Just not only like is your body like loosen and like more relaxed, but even like your mindset's good, because like
yeah, man.
Like, I just defeated the shower.
Basically, exactly. Like, you know, like back in football, I had a really big love-hate relationship with the ice bath in the tub. Like
I did that once.
Yeah, like when you when you're sitting there and you're thinking about it, that's what really gets you. Is like you thinking about how cold it
You're
is.
just sitting like, what the fuck am I here?
Yeah, like why? Yeah, but it's like as soon as you sit in and you just like, after that, it's like okay, I know when I get out, and like you were saying, right when you get out, you're like, you don't feel tense.
It's that reward from after.
Yeah, exactly. Like man, like it's hot outside. In the summer, Texas is like where it is right now, like 100-some degrees, and
for the Celsius people, it's just hot as fuck.
Yeah, hot as shit. That's all you guys need to know. And you get out in an ice tub and you go and you walk outside, you're into the sun, you're like, man, I'm not even hot right now. Like, I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah, but that ice stuff is great, man. Cold showers.
Yeah, dude, just mentalities like that. Like, I remember from baseball, like what Coach said, that's, what is it, like 80% mental and 20% physical or something like that. Not only that, but like with all sports, if you really think about it, you start getting into it.
To be real with you, man, like just like everything in life.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah, man, like if you have to have like that mindset when you wake up in the morning that you're gonna do something and you want to enjoy it, even if you know for a fact.
It's just like that, fake it till you make it.
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds like, I hate saying it because I'm a genuine person and I try to like, keep it real. But even then, sometimes you just have to fake it.
Yeah,
it's like people at work or like customers I don't like or just anything. Just a person comes up and like I don't like them or whatever, they just come off like as an asshole. I'll just try to keep it chill.
Just keep it chill, man, because like you don't want somebody.
Like then it'll start escalating, right? You let yourself go, like you're gonna start yelling. The other person's gonna start yelling. It's just gonna go nowhere.
And the only person getting fired is you. That person is not getting fired.
Yeah, they can just walk away, go to the next store.
Yeah, exactly, and they still get what they want and may get something free because something that you weren't even in the wrong for. I get it, man. Trust me.
Yeah, there was also this one quote. It was a Buddhist monk, I believe, because they do like the whole.
Yeah, they're
like
big on the mental stuff.
Yeah, like meditation, nirvana, and that stuff. It was like, what was the quote? I forgot. It was like, whenever you're mad or when like anger, it's like a consequence you put on yourself.
Yeah.
For an error. Stress. Yeah, it's like for an error that someone else did. Because really, when you're mad, it's because someone else did something.
Right.
Most of the time, it's gonna be something you don't have control over.
Yeah,
like if you're mad at yourself, you're not gonna like yell at yourself or like punch yourself or whatever, because you know what you did wrong, so you're like gonna change it, right?
Exactly.
Or like that's the theory. But whenever someone else made you mad, maybe they got you the wrong thing, or they said something wrong, or they cut you off in traffic, like it happened.
Yeah, man.
They already cut you off. Don't go around and try it again, because then you're gonna go kill someone.
Yeah, exactly. I know a lot of people that get kind of upset about stuff that happens on the road. But that goes back to a scripture from the Bible, and it says, "One who angers you controls you." It's like, man, somebody, like in school, somebody says something in class that's slick. People antagonize, like, ooh, like all that kind of stuff, and that person all that person is looking for really is a response from you, and you getting angry is going to give them that response. Like they literally control what you just did. You gave them what they wanted. You just sitting back, and something that I've seen you do and you're really good at. You're just like, whatever.
Yeah, just don't go.
Yeah, it just don't matter. It's all outside noise to an inside situation. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it really is. That's why I just like, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm still gonna be with myself. That person's gonna leave, do their own thing.
You're temporary. You're not important.
You know what I've heard that's really fucked up?
What?
Like, I don't know if you've seen it on the news, but I've seen, like, people getting shot.
Yeah.
Like, in traffic. Maybe I honked at someone.
Yeah,
maybe the person honked at someone, or, like, they just get shot,
Yeah. I try to tell that to a lot of people that I know, because I was raised in Atlanta, South Atlanta. And my dad was a medical examiner for Fulton County. And he was telling me about, they had this one lady who, how you have those people that drive behind you on the highway and they try to bully you to get you to go faster.
Yeah, and then they go around and cut you off again.
All dramatic. Basically, like, this woman was, this guy was bullying her on the highway, and as she's driving, she wouldn't let the guy. She decided, well, I'm not going to be bullied today, which is, in respect, like something that I can understand. However, you need to know, like, you have to have situational awareness, like, What city am I in? What side of town am I on?
Yeah.
Stuff like that, right? So it's not really the time to get real bold, but I guess she was having a bad day. God bless her soul. But anyways, she's not letting this guy go around her. So she's like slowing down on purpose. And if he tries to switch lanes, she switches lanes, right? So it comes time when the guy finally gets around her, rolls down the window, shoots through the door 3 times, kills her in the middle of the highway.
Shit.
Yep. Like I said, God bless her soul. But there's just certain times when I get it. She's just trying to stand up for herself. But sometimes you need to just step back.
But it's still, like, it's not worth the life.
It's not.
Like,
road rage is not worth it.
Nothing is, really.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, man. Sometimes I'm trying to put this in like perspective.
Yeah, we're gonna start getting, like, if you can't tell yet, we're gonna start getting to like that whole gun thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that.
Yeah, no, just keep going. Like, we're gonna get there eventually.
Yeah. So sometimes you need to like realize, that you need to take a beating to give one later. You know, and that situation is if this has happened to me before. It's no big deal. If I'm walking into a store and somebody says like something racially derogative towards me, I'm not going to give that person a response. Because especially, and it's like, it'll be like 3 of them. I'll be by myself. What am I going to gain from saying something back and getting all tough and macho with 3 guys and they beat me up on my way out of that restaurant?
Not only that, but you basically proved their point.
Yeah, exactly.
So they start saying like, man, black people are aggressive or whatever, and then you start like going off on them. Like, you just proved your point.
Exactly.
Like, black people are aggressive.
It's like, it's not worth it, man. Or sometimes you have a boss that's just like mean. You know, like you're just trying to pay off like student loans or for your apartment or whatever, or you're just at a temporary job, you know. And you just have just a boss just being like an asshole, just not an enjoyable person at all. Every time they see you, they're talking trash. Everyone's had a boss like that at least once, or like a coworker.
Oh yeah,
you're right. But you know that person's in a situation that is over control of your outcome. So are you gonna be quiet, deal with it every day until you don't need that job anymore? It's like, okay, this guy makes my job like hell. I hate it, but I got bills to pay at home. I have to feed myself or my family. You know, I have student loans to pay, so I'm gonna deal with it. I'm gonna take that thorn in my side so I can get where I need to go and maybe be above this guy in the future. You always have to think in the long run.
Yeah, but I mean, you have a different perspective because you're what, like 19, almost 20.
Yeah, I turned 20 in December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's also like 40, 50-year-old people in that same position, but they can't get out of it.
Yeah, man, that's tough. When it comes to that kind of stuff, I believe that self-evaluation is like the key to happiness in that point. I'm like a real big fan of Kevin Gates, and that's something he said and in an interview, and it really stuck to me, you know, because this isn't the case with everybody, but I believe sometimes when people are in that situation where they're kind of stuck, if it's not like economic status, you know, how to get out of that is like, well, if I'm in this situation, how did I get here? What did I do to get here? Because regardless of what happens, I was talking to my friend Larissa the other day about a situation I was going through, and I told myself, and it was a conversation I was having with an individual that meant a lot to me at the time, and I was telling her that I was upset and I had every right to be upset in that situation. However, my response didn't aid the outcome of the situation. It's almost like stuff like that is almost like it's like you have the right to be angry and say something, but in that moment, do you need to? And that translates to like what we're talking about in this. Oh man, I kind of lost myself there. I got kind of carried away. Anyways, let me get back on topic. Let me guys are talking. So like, what did I do to get? Oh, now I remember. It's like, so just because someone said something to me, my response to that could have been positive. Like Mr. Kwan, you remember Mr. Kwan? He was a chemistry teacher.
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, Mr. Kwan always told me in wrestling, you know, the time that you waste feeling sorry for yourself is the time that you're taking away from bettering your situation. You know, I get it. Some people just can't get out of it, man. I understand. I have family in impoverished areas. You know, I know a lot of people. Some people just can't get out of it. But sometimes you look at that person and you're like, you could have been better.
Mm-hmm.
if you would have made better decisions, or if you would stop blaming other people for your problems. So that's how I feel about people that are older in that situation. It's rather one than the other, man.
Yeah, and something I believe in is like karma, like good or bad. So
Yeah.
like good people, like if you're a good person for your whole life, like it's gonna pay off eventually.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Even if you're like one of those parents that are stuck in a situation, but like they're trying their best for like their family, like
Right.
they're eventually gonna get paid back.
Right.
Or
Exactly.
even if you're like a shitty parent, you go out every weekend, you don't worry about your kids, like you're not gonna get like that kid's gonna follow the same path as you are more likely. They're gonna like go out
Yeah.
every weekend, whatever, so they're not gonna get paid back for it.
Right. Exactly. You're just setting like a bad tone for like literally the generations to come.
Yeah. Not
You know.
only just parents, just like if you're a bad person, you're gonna
Yeah.
like get shot on overall.
Yeah, man. Nothing.
In the long run, you are.
Yeah. Nothing positive. Comes good from that. My mom always taught me that, but on more of a biblical level.
Yeah.
You sow good seed. You sow seed in good soil, right? So you make good actions from a good heart, then you'll grow fresh fruit. You'll be prosperous, And staying on that topic a little bit, stay on that topic. It's like when you were saying like those people that work hard for their family.
Yeah.
I saw both my parents work hard and struggle, but I was a happy kid, and so were my parents, and it's almost, you go to like those like almost uninhabitable islands that have those tribes that have been there for like millennia, right? And they don't know what poor is, so they feel like they're rich, Biblically, it's like, well, my house may not be too big, or I mean, I have all the like fashiony clothes, but my relationship with God is rich. Like I feel good about my life. I have a good connection. I have people that love me around me. I'm getting my grades in school. I'm doing what I need to do. Like to the naked eye, I may not be rich, but I'm rich, and not even in the biblical sense for those who don't believe. In the sense of like, man, like I feel good about myself. I can wake up every day, look myself in the mirror, and be like, man, like I'm proud of you, proud of what you've done, even if it's not much.
Yeah, even if it's not biblical, just being like loving yourself.
Yeah, just loving yourself, basically, in simplicity. Just like loving yourself, loving yourself, but loving where you're at, but still pushing yourself to get better. Don't get complacent.
Yeah, like I remember Rainy, like towards the end, like if you
Love Rainy.
Yeah. shout out to him. He was
Shout out to
first
Mr. Rainy.
episode. Do what?
I never talked to him much, but he was really cool with my ex-girlfriend, so I saw him a lot at the time.
Yeah, you should have.
I should have, definitely.
Yeah, like one of the things he said towards the end of like our episode is that because he still has like, he has 3 kids. The oldest one's 12 or 11 or something like that.
Okay, cool.
And he was saying how he's trying to teach minimalism to them.
Right.
So, like, not worrying about like the consumerism we have, especially here in America or like Western Europe, like the Western countries. Like he's trying to steer them off from that. Like just to like just being happy with yourself, just being genuine person.
Right. Because I mean, they say that I don't know if this statistic still stands, but when I heard it at the time, they say like the highest suicide rates are in like upper to like lower, like upper class, all throughout the spectrum. Is that's happening there because they have all these things. I've met some people who have a lot of money, but they sit down and they tell me, they're like, look now, man, like I have all these things and I can do what I want whenever. I have people that drive me around, but like I barely see my parents, man, and that hurts me inside. When I'm hurting, I have no one to really talk to that knows me, or I don't know if this girl likes me because she likes me, or this girl likes me because of money, or this guy's being my friend 'cause he's my friend, or he's being my friend because I buy him stuff, and I can't even imagine that, like being around, people that like you don't know, like, do you really love me like as a person, or do you love what I can do for you? Right. I can't imagine that. That must be so like heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's just people forget like that really rich people are like celebrities. Like they're human too.
Yeah,
they still feel emotion.
Yeah, exactly.
They still have like families. They still have like their personal friends. They have a personal life.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Behind the scenes.
Exactly. and people get upset when celebrities want to be private. Like J. Cole had a wife and a kid, and no one knew about it, like at all. And it's like I respect. I wouldn't want a baby in my camera's face before he even gets
Oh,
a
hell
bottle.
no.
You know, like people want to be private with their own lives. There's nothing wrong with that because they're people too.
Yeah.
Everybody has secrets. Just because they make a certain amount of money and you see them on the big screen doesn't mean that they're not human beings in their own right.
Yeah, and then even like the whole paparazzi thing, like they get mad whenever like Kanye West is walking, and then he just like hey, stop filming me. He like puts his hand on the camera, and everyone's
Right.
like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. How would you feel if a person you don't know
Shit, I
came?
do the same exact thing.
Yeah, and put a camera in your face, like.
You would do the same exact thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I don't know you, man.
Yeah,
It doesn't
like,
matter who I am.
take
yeah,
that off. I
Yeah,
don't
get
want
out of my.
that.
You're in my personal space at that point.
It's just crazy. Like, have you ever heard like the actors, like the audition stories, like what actors go through?
Oh yeah.
So fucked up.
Oh yeah, dude. Idris Elba. Do you ever watch that show on YouTube called Hot Ones? About yeah, when they eat the hot wings and the guy asks them questions. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Idris Elba.
I should try that here.
Yeah, I'd be
Maybe.
down.
No,
I love
wouldn't.
chicken.
I wouldn't.
I
I love chicken, not the spicy part.
Oh man, I was like testing my limits. So I haven't gotten hot before, so I want to see. But you know who Idris Elba is? Idris Elba is the black guy with the British accent. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was on there and he was telling me how I guess this one ends like on a more positive note. He was playing in a movie I can't remember. I know we were younger definitely when it came out, but the director and the producer were trying to cast someone who was from an urban area, you know, relatively like somewhere in Brooklyn or the Bronx, New York, and was strictly American, you know, and you know Idris Elba is from the UK,
Yeah.
and when he came over, he's like, man, I really want to try out for this part, but not American, but he could do an American accent really well. Like I said, this is like more of a positive story, but I get that's what the director was looking for, is someone that can understand, but I don't think they have to be from America to understand that struggle in a sense.
Yeah.
It's relatively like similar. There's just certain key things that may be different because of the culture around you, you know? But anyways, he did the audition and he did his English accent, you know. He gets called back to do it again. And one of the producers there is Irish.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
So the Irish guy, I'm sorry, let me rewind a little bit. There was a lady that was working, like one of the producers, that knew he was from the UK, but just was like, man, he's like a perfect place for it. So right before he walked in, he's like, okay, do your American accent. Remember, you're from yada, yada, yada. Play the part, you know. He's like, all right, got it. So back to where I was before. I skip over stuff sometimes. So
No, you're good.
back to where I was before. He, during his callback, the Irish guy is like, you know, in his little accent. I'm not gonna do it, but he's like, all right,
That's great.
yeah, yeah. He's like, all right, you know. He's like, so where you say you were from again?
I'm from the UK.
Yeah, and Idris is like, you know, he's talking about how he's like a genuine kind of guy, and his mom always told, like, you know, most people's moms tell him, you know, it's not good to lie, you know. So he said he took a deep breath and, you know, let go of his accent. Said, look, man, I'm from the UK, not from here. I know I shouldn't have done this.
Seem like I'm from London. We
Yeah.
don't know what the fuck
Yeah,
going
exactly.
on.
So the Irish guy goes, man, I knew it. Looks at the head, you know, the director said, I told you he was. I knew something was off. And then the director looks at, this is the amazing part. The director looks at him and said, okay, I don't think you'll be the right spot for what you tried out for, but I think you'll be a good for one of the co-star spots. And he said he just broke out in tears.
Now that you told me that story,
Yeah.
I think I've heard of that before. Like,
Yeah.
It sounded really familiar.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I love that Hot One show. It's hilarious.
Dude, accents are great.
What?
Accents are great.
Dude, man, I wish
love
I could do.
accents.
I wish I could do one. I wish I could do one, man. I can't. When I can understand a good amount of Spanish and I could speak some words, and I've had some friends tell me I have not so much of like a good accent, but good pronunciation. You
Yeah.
know, like like the way I would like roll my R's and stuff. Supposedly, I don't think it's good because I'm around them all the time. I have Mexicans in my family. I'm not Mexican, but I have them in my family, and they're like, you speak, pretty good Spanish. Like I don't know a lot. I can understand a little bit, but I can't speak a whole lot.
Yeah, I've been told that with my German that I speak it very well, but I
Yeah,
only know so much of it.
yeah, yeah.
So it'll like throw people off. It's like if I'm speaking with you with like a perfect English accent or whatever, and then like I'm like, oh yeah, I don't speak English.
Yeah, it's
Like, you're gonna
yeah.
be thrown off.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how people kind of look like. They start saying these paragraphs or start conversations. Like I remember my sophomore or junior year, I was going away to a state lineman challenge for football. And one of the guys' grandmothers was riding the car because, she liked to see him wash and compete and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we're sitting in the back seat. And I can talking to like older Latino people, the accent and like the speech is faster, the accent is heavier, and they say words like that slang that you wouldn't get unless you actually grew up speaking Spanish. Yeah. So she's talking to me, and I'm understanding like every 3 words.
Really?
And I just looking at her and nodding like, yeah, I totally understand. And then at the end of the ride, I'm like, dude, like your grandma, your abuelita has been talking to me this whole time, and I have had no idea what she's been saying. He's like, what? I thought she spoke Spanish. I was like, yeah, man, I can understand like casual conversation, but she's giving me paragraphs back here for 2 hours. And he looks at me, and his grandma's like, what? You don't speak Spanish? She says in like broken English, but I understand it.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad, but it's the truth. Like the way I was speaking to her, she told him and he translated. Like the way I sounded, she just suspected, like you said, I spoke Spanish. So yeah, I've got stuck in that situation before.
That's pretty funny. Something that I don't understand with people is that they will base like a person's intelligence based off of their accent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's terrible. Like even I do that sometimes. Like I don't do it intentionally. It's just a way.
Yeah.
Like it sounds.
Yeah, I get that, man. I'm originally from Tampa, Florida, but I grew up in Lakeland, Florida, and my cousins, my cousins say I talk like a white boy, So, but the thing is, all my like aunties and uncles and stuff have like that certain type of southern like slang, that way of talking, So, and they, based on how they sound, they're just, you would hear them and be like, I don't know if you're too, but these are like smart people. Like I sit down and I'll talk to them like, man, like my aunt, like both my aunties make close to 6 figures, if not 6 figures.
Yeah.
But talking to them, you'd be like, no, you don't, So I definitely get it. I feel like my dad's half the family all is from New York, right? My mom's half is all from Florida, but you can definitely tell when they meet together. My northern side is kind of looking at my southern side like, man, y'all are all kind of ignorant at first, and they talk and they converse, and then they're like, wow, like you're not stupid. It's like, yeah, no, but I get that. It's just where you come from,
Yeah, that's really all an accident is you're speaking one language with the loss of your mother language.
Exactly. Yeah. Like people from Louisiana, sometimes, man, I hear them like that deep Cajun accent, and I know what they're saying, but it's really hard to get it sometimes. But I know it's English, and it's like, this is why people come from other countries and have such a hard time understanding English.
Yeah.
Because there's so many different like types, I guess, dialogues you could call them of English. People from California sound one way, people from the north, the south.
Not even that. I remember I had a story, or I told you before this, like before we started the hostel one. Like for people that don't know what a hostel is, basically a hotel, and you get roommates. That's about it. It's more or less the same. And like my little group that we had, it was in Spain. Like it was me and this other guy. They were from America. Like I'm from Texas, he was from Arizona, and then we had this we had this other girl from England, someone from Ireland. We had a Scottish couple and like a small group of Aussies. It was like 2 or 3, right? Like it's
Right.
different countries from all over the world.
Yeah, yeah.
And
yeah.
we all speak English, but just like completely different English.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's just like a boiling pot of just like
It was interesting, but I mean, we all like spoke it well. It's I guess everyone's first language,
yeah.
but it's so different. Especially like the Scottish people, dude. I can't understand. I can't understand them.
Dude,
Like I'm sorry. Like I know people in Scotland, but I just can't understand you. Speak English.
Dude, it's like the it's like they have like this really deep drawl to how they talk, especially the men, you know, and then the drawl with like the accent, and then
The
like
R throws me off.
yeah, and then like the
I don't-
speed they speak at when they get passionate, you know, it's just like I need you to slow down, man, and try to just enunciate just a little better.
I like with Spanish, it's Cubans. I can't understand Cubans.
Man, I'm being from Florida. I got
Oh yeah, I
you-
got a lot of Cubans.
Yeah. So I got used to it. My TT Leslie, she's Cuban. She's not like my actual auntie, but her and my mom been friends for a long time, so I don't know her.
Yeah, we all
more.
have someone that's
Yeah,
basically
yeah.
family.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I got used to hearing it, but here, like living here in Texas, you know, there's a lot of Mexicans, Salvadorans, Hondurans, and stuff. When I first got here, hearing like Puerto Rican and Cuban, like their dialogue of Spanish, I got here and I was like, "What
Yeah,
are
we
you?"
speak it way slower.
Yeah, and Puerto Ricans don't really like roll their R's as much.
Mm.
So when I got here, I was like, "What are you saying?" Right? And when I got back to Florida, I was like, "Dude, like, what do you got?" I felt stuck because I got so used to hearing like the Mexican dialogue of Spanish. I go back and I hear Cubans again after 11 years, and like you said, I was like, I have absolutely no idea what you're saying.
Have you ever been outside of the U.S.?
Oh, no, man. I wish I will be soon, hopefully, but I've always wanted to.
Where are you going?
That is to be determined. I have to finish training to know exactly where I'm going. Yeah.
Oh, so you're getting shipped off out of the U.S.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Probably not right away. There's like a whole bunch of other
Yeah, that's
explanations.
understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but-
you're missing out.
I know, man. I wanna go to Greece. The beaches in Greece are absolutely gorgeous from
It's
what I've seen in
Mediterranean
pictures.
overall.
Yeah, just in general, man. It's just like really clean.
Yeah, like we got oil beaches.
Dude, I went to this. I'm not the biggest fan of like Louisiana. I've been to New Orleans. New Orleans was cool. It had pretty good food, obviously, but I was just not used. We went to this island that is like one of the longest bridges to get there, like in the world or in the country, something like that. But on this island, we got on this beach, and it was one of those houses that sit up on like the tide beams. So like if the tide comes in strong, you're up like maybe like 12 feet on the beams that support the building.
Yeah.
And we walk down to the beach, and I sit there. I'm like, oh, there's an oil rig. Whatever, you know. I counted 17 oil rigs in the distance. Man, I had never seen water so brown in my life. Before I got on the ferry in New Orleans and we were going, I guess you'd call that the bayou. I don't know. I don't know the terminology they use over there. But their water is like brown. I would never drink tap water in
Fuck
Louisiana. I couldn't do it. It's not really my favorite place.
Yeah, like I'm just not a fan of beaches overall. I don't know, they're just not my thing.
Ah.
I prefer mountains.
Dude.
I love mountains.
You know how have you gone hiking in Oklahoma?
Oh yeah, like the little, like outside of Turner Falls. What are those mountains?
Wichita Falls. That's where I went.
Oh, Wichita Falls.
Yeah, Wichita Falls. It's maybe like an hour away from the Texas-Oklahoma border, just over there. It's like a wildlife preserve.
I've
or
driven
something
it
over there.
past.
Yeah,
Past by it. Have you
dude.
been to Amarillo?
No,
Yeah,
I
you need
want to.
Yeah, you need to go hike there.
Dude, I want to so bad, but I went there with my my two good buddies, Donovan and Harris, real great guys. I love them to death. We went hiking, and we got up to this mountain, top of Mount Scott. I think it's like 800, 900,000 feet. I don't know.
900,000.
Yeah. No, absolutely not. I need a whole lot more equipment than just like my old Walmart combat boots and, the little stuff I was wearing. Anyways, it was so beautiful to get to the top and see like the increases and decreases in the terrain that's there, man. It's like the green and like the browns and like that red clayish color, different colors of trees. It was about like the beginning of fall, so the foliage was absolutely beautiful. I'll never forget that. I took some really bomb pictures too. Of course.
I mean, you have to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Amarillo one's also great. You need to check it out.
Oh,
have you heard of the 72-ounce steak?
Yes.
Because I like the rest. For people that don't know, they have this restaurant where if you eat a 72-ounce steak, which in metric terms is just really big.
Yeah,
just look it up.
We're
Google.
America. We're weird with our measurements. Sorry.
Just use Google. It's like if you eat that in under an hour, you get it for free.
See, I do it for the challenge, but it's like, so I just destroyed my stomach for under an hour for free. Like, I just put myself through the tastiest torture ever.
Guess what the record is?
What?
You're not going to believe it.
I probably won't.
20 minutes.
And you know what the crazy thing is? That guy was probably like 120 pounds that did that.
It wasn't a guy.
It was a girl? I mean, a female?
It was a female.
What?
Yeah, I'm going to look it up right now.
Hey, man, I don't doubt that. I know most of the females I hang out with, I have a lot of female friends, can definitely eat food. Like, I'm sitting there eating and they're done before me. And I'm a pretty fast eating guy.
Oh, shit, no. It was 3 minutes. She ate 3 steaks in 20 minutes. So she ate 3 of the 72-ounce steaks.
What? She was eating to get full.
In 20 fucking minutes.
She was eating to get full, man. She was not eating for that competition. She's like, I wonder where I can go where I can get 3 meals for free. That's awesome. Kudos to her. I couldn't do it. I definitely couldn't do it.
Oh, I found the transition on here, the translation. It's 2 kilos. For the people that don't know what we're talking about, it's 2 kilos. It says here that she ate the first one in 6 minutes and 48 seconds. Not only that, it's a steak and it comes with like sides. So
Are
it's
you
like
serious?
green beans. Yeah.
How thick is the steak? How thick does it look?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. I'll have it up like on the screen. Like people that are watching. If you're listening to this, just look it up.
Yeah, man. Either way, sides and then like the steak itself in 6-something minutes.
In 6 minutes. That's a whole family meal.
She's a trooper, man.
That's a family meal.
She put that away. Wow.
Here, there's a picture of it so you can see it. It's still loading. That's like a whole family meal. I had one. I went there. I had like, what was it? Like 12 ounces.
Yeah.
I was stuffed.
Yeah, man. Like a 12 ounce. I maybe can do 14. You see that?
It's like a baked potato, like green beans. Just looking at the size of that.
Dude.
It's good though.
What does she have? Shark teeth, man? Like
Fuck,
this thing is thick. Just to chew that up, that must have taken a long time. Just for one bite. That's not a skinny steak, man. That's a fat piece of meat. That's crazy. That is crazy.
And it's like a salad. Here, there's another one.
Wow. Salad, a baked potato, a roll. Man, who wants to eat bread with that? Damn, man. She ate
3 of those in 20 minutes.
I feel bad for her parents when she was growing up if she's eating like that as an adult.
I mean, she got her for free.
That's a whole lot of grocery, man. Man, that's crazy. If her husband cooks for her, that I know she's in a relationship or something. They spend a lot of money on groceries. She could put
That was
3
like
of those
my
away.
one fear as a kid because I used to eat a lot. That's like
Yeah.
one like I've always been like a skinny kid, or I wasn't even that skinny. I was like average, I
Yeah.
guess you can say. And I would eat. I was like probably like 8 years old. I did like 10 tacos from wherever, and I started thinking about it. Like, wait, at this rate, if I'm gonna be in high school eating at this rate, shit, I'm gonna be spending shitload of money. So I might as well stop eating.
Stop eating.
That was my logic behind it. I mean, it worked out eventually.
Right.
Fuck, I'm gonna stop eating. I can't do this.
Didn't you do like that 3-day water fast?
Oh yeah, I did.
Whoa, man, that was tough. Like I can't even imagine doing
I
that.
dude, like you said, like we were talking about this way before. It's just mental.
Yeah, well, yeah, but that's
Like
a lot
really,
of mental.
the first day's like somewhat hard because you just like smell something. You
Yeah,
gotta,
and it's
you're
like,
fuck.
yeah,
Yeah, it's really just a craving because you stop. Because what the stomach does is that like you've seen like the whole like the wilderness
oh yeah, of course,
challenges,
man.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like the stomach gets used to what you eat. So like really humans aren't supposed to eat 3 meals a day, but it's
Yeah.
like what we do. But because what a human can go for like 10 days plus without eating,
Without eating, yeah,
like up to fuck. If you're drinking water, you can go like a whole month or whatever.
yeah, you can.
Like we need water,
Yeah, we
That's
need
fact.
water, 100%.
but like the first day was tough because I would go to the kitchen. I'm like, I don't get munchies.
Right.
Like the first day, I just know I'm not eating. I'm like, fuck, like cookie sounds good right now. I like walk by the fridge a few times. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Just get like my cup of water and like leave, go back to my room. And then like the second day wasn't even that bad anymore.
Really? Yeah, because your body's just like.
It was just around like when you would usually like when you eat like
Yeah.
around noon. Maybe you're gonna have a snack like after work or whatever.
That's
maybe
when that's when your stomach sends a signal to your brain,
Yeah,
like,
but
hey,
like
I'm hungry.
yeah,
But once
so
you
like
get
those
past
like
it,
30-minute to an hour segments when you're supposed to eat or where you usually eat. That's when you get like the craving.
yeah.
But like
that's-
after that, you're fine. Like anywhere in between that, like you're good.
Yeah, I felt my first challenge with that is when I wrestled my senior year. The coaches can like not let you cut. It's not something that's supposed to happen because it's so bad for the body. But there comes to a point where your coach will tell you, "Hey, eat something tonight. Eat, eat, eat." Like don't overeat, but don't starve yourself or dehydrate yourself. But when you need to get like that, for me, I used to, drop weight pretty fast. So I would eat and I'm like, man, I used to wrestle 195. And in the season that goes up, you get a 2-pound allowance. So at 195 comes 197, right? And I'd be at like 196.
What's your like natural weight? Like what are you supposed to weigh more or less?
So if I'm being athletic like I am now, I have to be under 200. Like if I get to like 200, 205, 210, I can functional, but I'm not at like my
Or you're gonna be a
optimal
little
level.
slower.
Yeah, gonna be slower. But yeah, my natural weight. Most of the time I won't get bigger than 210, but I'm trying to get it to where you have to be at around a certain weight range for a whole year for your body to just accept the fact that, okay, this is where I'm at. Because when you cut weight, that's why people go up and down so much in weight. They go on these diets and stuff and they lose like 10 pounds. They're like, oh man, I look good for like the next 3 weeks. And then you start eating what you want. So your body starts taking that in and storing. It's like, man, I'm underweight. Your body's like, oh, I'm undernourished. So it stores all of it instead of just like letting it go and sucking up the nutrients, let it go. It stores it, and then you go back to the weight that your body thinks it should be at. So like the whole weight thing is kind of like a trick between your brain and your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even then, like the whole like body shaming people. For,
Yeah.
Like you see, like, oh, you weigh this much. Why don't you weigh this much? Especially as kids.
Yeah.
So, like if you're in the age of like 10 years old, you're supposed to weigh this much.
Yeah, that's
Whatever. But it's really like it depends on the body.
dude.
You can't be 6'4" and weigh 150.
Yeah, like
You know?
it's for me. it ranges between what you do.
Not
Like,
only that, but just even genetics. Because there's some
yeah,
people that they can work out their whole lives, but like their family's fat, their like grandparents are fat. Like they're
right.
just gonna be fat. Like they're
Yeah,
just bigger people.
yeah. There are in high school they're more like man children. You see them, and you're just like, whoa, man, you're a big dude,
Yeah.
And they're not like you said, they're not even like fat. These are like muscular guys, but they're not like shredded and toned. Like I don't want to say his name, but you look at him like, man, that's a big dude. I know he has muscle. I know he's athletic, but he's just big.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get where you're coming from. That whole, I know you should say, people say you should be like this weight if you're this age and, you're this height or whatever. But I know athletes that a lot of them are in my family that are like 6'2", 230 with like 10% body fat.
Shit.
Big dudes, man.
Yeah.
It's
No
just like,
shit.
yeah. So it's just like, throw that away. Because obviously that's what your book says that he shouldn't be at.
Yeah.
But he's in way better shape than you are, and you're at the weight you're supposed to be at.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I guess it's just like a spectrum of what that person does, or like you said, genetics.
Something with like fighters, though, especially, because they have to be concerned about their weight. Like I know, like you did wrestling, right?
Yeah.
For how many years?
I wrestled for a year.
Just 1 year.
Yeah, I wrestled for a year, and man, my region was stacked. I made it to regionals. I think I got like fifth or sixth, and I ended up going and being a state alternate. So like, if somebody got hurt,
Yeah.
I would replace them in the tournament, which surprised me. No one thought I'd make it that far, but work hard and prayed, and it just went there. But yeah, back to the weight thing. It is a challenge. When you have to, like, after tournaments, we went to El Paso for a tournament, state duels for the guys. The girls didn't go that year, because they didn't have girls wrestle. I don't know why, but afterwards, after a tournament, our reward was always a buffet.
Hell yeah.
Every time, man.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. And because it's hard staying at a weight. Because, your walk around weight should always be like 10, 12 pounds. Outside of the season should be like 10 pounds of what your wrestle weight is. Because if you can be athletic at, like, say someone wrestling 182. If you can be athletic at 190, lifting weights or whatever it is, when you cut down, yeah, your body kind of lacks that I'm not gonna say nutrition.
Extra weight.
Yeah, so you move faster. You're more agile. There's more dexterity, but it really fighting in that state of like, I know I need to be under whatever to fight tomorrow, right? Fighting in that state, it really teaches you and shows you what the mind can make the body do without the right nutrition. Because when you're wrestling, man, when you're wrestling and it's like really like it's not hot in the room, but since there's so many people sweating in that space, it gets hot.
Yeah.
And regardless of what you're wearing, like, you are out of water. Even if you drank water during practice, if you didn't drink like that gallon to gallon and a half 2 days before, your body's not hydrated to handle what's happening. But I've learned, because I used to do that a lot. It was a real horrible athletic mistake. But I've learned that doing that, even when my body shouldn't be functioning, I'm wrestling matches. I'm winning matches, losing matches too. But it just showed me like, wow, like, even though my body's not supposed to be able to function right now because I'm dehydrated, which is my own fault, it's functioning.
Because you're making it function.
Yeah, exactly. That's why fighters, you ever watch UFC or MMA?
Yeah, I watch it every once in a while.
Yeah, you can tell when a guy had like a really big cut, because when he go in to weigh himself, he's just like zombified, You get into the fight, it's maybe like round 2 and he's burnt out.
Yeah.
Burnt out completely. And that's just because like he had to cut so much, so his body is his cardio is good. He's in shape, but
It's
his
just, like the body's not used
it's
to it.
deprived. It's deprived of the fuel it needs to keep him going at that level. So you can always tell that big cut it's a rough
And
one.
you always hear the stories where they have like 5 days to lose 5 pounds.
Yeah.
So they literally have to lose a pound a day.
Yeah, man, I've seen crazy stuff. Our coach never promoted cutting or anything like that. Like you're not supposed to, you know.
Yeah.
But I knew guys that would not tell coach and would go home and like run with like layers of clothes on. I've even done it, you know, and cut like 6 pounds in a day. I've seen it. Even me, like I sweat a lot. You can ask anybody who went to school, man. I'm pretty sure you've seen it too. Homecoming, prom, whatever kind of dance.
Yeah, you do.
I could barely be doing anything, and I sweat my balls off.
I'm surprised you're not sweating right now. Actually.
Dude, if it wasn't for the fan, I'm okay. Be real. I'm sweating on my back.
Yeah.
But dude, I just sweat a lot, so I could just wear. You know, I used to like wearing sweatpants and then like a short sleeve shirt to practice. Because when you slide on the mat, you get like burns on your knee, and I used to hate it. Yeah, so I used to wear sweatpants, and I'd come out of practice sweating out 8 pounds for just wrestling for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I'm not even like trying to do it. I'm just wrestling, you know? But I've seen some pretty big cuts, man. I know a guy that cut 15 pounds in a day.
What?
Yep. I know a guy that did that. I know a couple of guys that got close to that number too. But yeah, you'd be surprised what people can do when they really want something.
That's 15 pounds.
Yep.
Like, how much does that person weigh?
Uh,
Like, their range.
Between. This is gonna sound crazy. I think I don't remember his exact wrestle weight, but it was definitely between 130 and 110.
What the fuck?
Yeah, he's insane. He's definitely a stud. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think about it.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck?
I mean,
like,
afterwards, like he was completely ripped out, you know.
like, you would think, like, a bigger guy would be different, you know, like 250 to 240 or, like, 270 to 250. Like, it doesn't sound too bad, you know, it's proportional. When you say 130 with 110.
15 pounds, man.
What
and I didn't believe it until he stepped on the
I
scale.
wouldn't believe it either.
Dude, he stepped. Because we used to change. You know, in the locker room, there's one scale, so we all use the same scale in the locker room.
Yeah.
But you know, coach didn't know what he did because you know, of course, like we don't want the coaches getting in trouble, so we're not gonna be like, oh coach, I was cutting, because then he has to like stop us from wrestling or something like that because it's not supposed to happen. We're not supposed to do it.
UIL, whatever.
Yeah. So I saw him get on the scale the day before. He comes back the next day, steps on the scale. I was like, and I even told, I was like, Coach, I think the scale's broken. And he is like, nope, I got it tested. You know, you have to get it tested and, you know, officialified. That's not even a word.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. And he did it, man. He looked like a zombie afterwards, but he did it. You know, I don't know, man. The human brain is something special to be able to push the body to do things like that.
Yeah, man, no shit. I'm still trying to, like, get that, like,
yeah.
Man.
So, wait. I remember you saying earlier you wanted to ask me about, like, gun control or
Oh, we're
something.
going to get into that now, right?
Okay, yeah. Let's go for it.
No, I mean, you had that story earlier about that lady that
got shot.
That got shot from that. It just comes to, like, a life isn't worth, like, a life is, or no, let me rephrase that. Nothing is really worth a life other than a life itself, if that makes sense.
I can understand that.
Yeah, and then, like, I know I have, like, viewers / listeners that are from other countries, and I know, like, you haven't experienced this yet, but whenever I travel, I'm like, hey, where are you from? I'm from Texas. First thing they always ask, do you own a gun, or do you have a gun? That's the first thing they always ask.
Yeah, us Americans love our guns, man. Love them. Just to give a little bit of insight on that, I think it's because this country was built with firearms. You
Yeah.
know, the negative side and the positive side. Because I'm like 40% native. You know, so I have like that piece of me that, you know, feels kind of hard about what happened. If you read up on American history, for the ones that don't know, you'll know what I'm talking about. But coming through the Revolutionary War, when, you know, everyone had a firearm, the only way we fought tyranny was with a firearm. You know, Civil War, fighting for freedom on a different kind of scale, firearms. You know, all these things. I guess other countries have done, but it started off with basic hand-to-hand combat weapons, swords, spears, bow and arrows, and it wasn't like that for us. The first time we got to a point where we wanted to revolt, there was none of that. It was just firearms, you know? So I feel like that's why firearms are such a part of like American culture and history, because they shaped our world in such a dramatic way.
Like the way we know it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because we're fairly new, because we were, founded in, like the first colony was Jamestown, right?
Yeah,
or
what's
something
it
like
say?
that. That was 1607.
Yeah.
And like before that was just a bunch of Native American tribes.
Yeah, and then
like
Columbus.
that stuff.
And, what was it, 1492 is when Columbus came
That's
over?
when he came around.
Yeah,
like,
and
the
then
first
later
time.
there was colonies, yeah.
Yeah, but even before that, it was just like native tribes. But if you
Yep.
think about it, like civilization has gone back, like at least in the Eastern world. Like the Western, we don't know that much about, because there's been things that about the last ice age, which was 10,000 years ago, something
Right.
like that. That when they passed by the Barrier Strait or whatever that's called between Alaska and Russia. So they passed by there, and that's how, like, you know, we got started. But there's actually other theories that they went back, like they dated back to 135 to 150,000 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. Or it was something like some giant number. Don't quote me on that. What I last said, yeah. But like civilization that we know of, that there's evidence of, goes back like thousands of years,
Aztecs, right?
before.
The
No, I'm
Aztecs.
talking about like the other side, like
Okay,
what's
yeah.
been confirmed of like European, like the
Africans.
like we
Yeah.
started in Africa, like like Homo sapiens started in Africa,
Right.
and
then
they
there's
just like spread out. So like it would be logical if like Europe, the Middle East, like they developed way before us. I mean, which they did, because
Yeah.
like the first civilizations were back like 4,000 years before Christ, like 8,000 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
So like the Neolithic
And
era
Paleolithic,
happened, Paleolithic, yeah, like that stuff. That's when they started slowing down, and like we had our tribes, but we didn't have like actual civilizations other than like the
Yeah.
Aztecs and that stuff until like 1492 when Columbus started, and that's when like the European influence happened
Yeah.
on the Western world.
On the Western world. Yeah.
So it goes like what she said with the U.S. in like the 1770s when like the revolution was happening, how we already had a firepower, like arms,
Yeah.
and that's how we started. And it makes sense, like what you said, like it's how we started. But how old's the country now? Like 300 years ago? That's still a long time. Like
Yeah.
especially like technology, what's happened in the last 10 years.
Man. iPods became iPhones.
Yeah.
Like,
And
that's
like
crazy.
like that,
Right.
like that little snap, that like the little echo you just heard.
Yeah, exactly. Technology, man. Technology.
Yeah, so like the arms, you know, you can debate on both sides, because, you know, you have like the more conservative people that say like, yeah, it's been, you know, in our history,
Right.
but obviously times change. Like we're almost 300 years into the future.
Right. That topic, I like to consider myself I consider myself an independent. You know, just whatever side has a policy I agree with
Yeah.
is the policy I'm going to vote for or go for.
I mean, that's really how it should be.
Right,
That's
exactly.
how Washington was. That's why, like, when it was voted in, That's one of the first things he said, that he didn't want
We
political
wouldn't
parties.
be divided, yeah,
Yeah.
by political parties.
And what was the first thing that happened after he left?
Exactly that. That's what America does.
Right.
But I'm joking, guys.
We do that.
Yeah, independence. I'm like an independent with a little bit of the left lean on the spectrum. Like but when it comes down to that topic of time change, that goes with a lot of things. Like when we gave the term freedom of the press, we didn't think there'd be cameras.
Right.
Didn't think, like, what was it? There was a princess in the UK that died a little bit ago from getting in a car accident, running from the paparazzi.
Yeah, it was something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah. Situations like that are people feeling uncomfortable. They didn't think we'd have phones. That freedom of speech goes into you being able to talk to who you want. I remember when we were younger, maybe around middle school, cyberbullying like blew up for like the first time because everyone had like iPods or laptops or whatever. And it's like, well, you get bullied at school, you come home, no more bullying. Well, you get bullied at school, you come home, open your phone, you're getting bullied on social media.
Yeah.
So I think that time.
I always thought that was stupid just because you can delete it.
Yeah, man.
That's a whole other topic.
Yeah, that's a touchy one. That's a touchy one.
I mean, even guns are, but I brought you in for that.
Yeah. So I believe that goes across all spectrums in that sense. But I do understand the point. I don't disagree with it, but I don't agree with it. Like I get where you're coming from. Like, yes, times have changed, firearms have evolved, but so has everything else. So you would have to
even then, I think it was Jefferson that said that the Constitution should be renewed every 15 years or something like that. He said.
Yeah.
Which I would agree with.
Yeah. And I mean, it has happened, like with freedom of speech.
We have the amendments and like the Bill of Rights that change over time.
Yeah. Like how.
But even then, it should just be like the whole thing should be renewed every like 25, 30 years, something like that.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Like, obviously, you're gonna have like your base.
Like
laws.
your base
the
principles.
Bill of Rights are always gonna be there. Yeah,
right.
But like technology or like just new stuff's gonna happen, so you're obviously gonna adapt to that.
Right, like they did that with like freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is not absolute in the U.S.
Oh no shit.
Like I remember one day I was in school my senior year and I was singing a song in my head. Not in my head, but I had my headphones on and I was singing a song and I walked past a cop, heard me say fuck. The cop comes up to me. He's a cool guy. Well, I became cool with him later, but he got all up in, cops. He get all up in my face. He's like close enough to kiss me. He's like, Texas has a law that infringes freedom of speech when it comes to cussing or something like that.
What?
And I'm just like, I'm sorry, man. Like, you know what? In Texas, if you cuss around children in public, you get fined $250 for every cuss word. Yeah. So things like that have changed. And there's also like the big one that is there's the big one, like you can't yell fire in a crowded movie theater. Like you can't call to action something.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, but it has
or
adapted.
Like yelling bomb in an airport.
Yeah, and at that point, like who wants to do that anyway? Like that's not even that's just you being a knucklehead, But with our Second Amendment, I think the basis behind it, makes it like unchangeable in that sense. Because think about it, right? People say that the government monitors everything we do, right?
They do.
Right, they do. Like you can prove it to a point, but there's just some stuff you can't prove that that's happening. Like, when you dial 911, right when you hit the second one, before you even press call, your phone starts recording. And not a lot of people know that. It records from your phone, not the dispatcher's that person's side of the phone.
Yeah.
But so my thing is, I think I like to think about it this way. A lot of people will talk about the government and how much like control they have, right? It's that control. The only way for us to fight that control, if it gets out of hand, like martial law, where the government has absolute control over everything we do, right? The only way for us to defend ourselves from that are firearms, even close, because the government has fully automatic weapons,
Right.
assault rifles. Those are illegal in the U.S. So for us to even have a fighting chance to standing up from a gun that basically goes, right, was what we'd be going against, to a gun that fires as fast as you can pull the trigger, you know. For us to even have a chance, we need those firearms, you know. And for me, people that think that the government needs control of it, it's like how people say a lot of people in the Republican Party are fascist, right? Mm-hmm. They call them Nazis, and you know, you've seen it all over YouTube and the news. And you say they control everything. This is my question: why would you want to take? This is for the people that believe the gun should be illegal, point blank, period. Why would you want to take the only way of defending yourselves and putting it in the hands of the people you call fascist? How does that make sense?
Right.
So, and the thing is, people talk bad about cops all the time. I don't think cops are bad people.
No, they're really not.
I would say 90% of cops
are just like
good
that,
guys.
You know, like that bad apple.
You
can have 100 good apples and 3 or 4 bad ones.
Right, and you know, I've come across some amazing police officers.
Oh yeah, like we get people all the time. Like I know, like there's a couple of officers I know that they show up to my work basically every day. I'm chill with them. You know,
yeah, they're good guys.
Yeah, they're great people.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know, they're trying to do the same thing we do, like provide for their family.
Right.
Like keep on the lights every night, have food on the table, etc.
Right. And you know, with Tupac, right, what happened with his situation is one of the rare times that this has actually, you know, happened and the person got off, was he saw these 2 off-duty cops harassing this guy, this black guy, and the 2 cops are white, and Tupac had a firearm. And they were harassing this cop, and you can't even touch a cop. It doesn't matter if you do anything or you resist arrest. You know, they're gonna arrest you first, put you through processing, fingerprint you. You're in the system. Later, you go to court. You're fine, not guilty. But at that point, it's all on your record. He was arrested for this, this, and this. He was found innocent, but however, now you're in the database of the United States government. A lot of people don't want that, right? But anyways, back to Tupac. I believe one of the cops pulled a gun and Tupac shot them both, right? In that situation, it was self-defense. They were off duty and they were drunk, you know? Imagine what that situation would have been like if Tupac didn't have a gun. Or people that live in impoverished places have a higher chance of people causing physical harm to them or their loved ones. You know, I don't need to tell you, you know, you live in a bad area, people break into your house, try to rob your car, rob you on the street. If 2 or 3 guys come in my house with firearms, what am I going to do if guns are illegal?
I just feel like the way we are now, like in our country, especially in the U.S.,
right?
Like, we're 300 years old. Guns have been around for 300 years. Like, as long as the country has been alive.
Yeah.
Like, longer,
a lot longer, yeah.
I just feel like we're at the point that you simply need a gun to defend yourself. Because, like, for example, in England, like you said, they've been around for, like, hundreds.
Right.
Few thousand years. And, like, guns are only, like, a short thing, right? Like, some cops have them, but they just have, like, the rubber bullets.
Right, in the
like,
UK.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, like patrol cops can't have guns, right? They just have nightsticks and tasers. Something like that.
Yeah, they're just, like, man you down.
Yeah.
And, like, here just come to a point where you need a gun. It's simple as that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm for guns,
right,
but to an extent. Like I
I feel
believe
that.
that. Like I don't. This is something I don't understand. Like I don't
Hmm.
like getting political.
Right.
Like just overall, not in this podcast or overall. So like you can believe whatever you want. I would never judge you off of that. But there's some people that they say there should be restrictions and like when buying a gun, like I wouldn't. I've done nothing wrong. Like if I'm gonna
Right.
buy a gun, I'm gonna want to take classes. I'm gonna want to learn to like man the gun.
Right.
I just don't. I don't want to go and just start shooting. It's like same thing with a car. Like what do? You have to take a night test, see if you can see the
Exactly.
road. You have to take a bunch of classes, know like the rules,
Yep.
know what to do at a
Pass a
red
test for your
light,
license.
pass the test.
Yeah, like
You got to do all this stuff.
yeah, like that analogy. That analogy when people are like, it's easier to drive a car or to buy a car than it is to buy. It's easier to buy a gun than it is to buy a car. Yes, however, it is. It is hard. It's not as easy to drive a car. You can buy a car, but it doesn't matter if you can't drive that car legally. Like you said, there's an eye test, there's schools, there's tests, like paper tests, there's driving tests, and then you get your license, right? It's the same way to carry a firearm, concealed, right? Concealed, to get an LCT, you have to go through like basic courses. They do background checks. You can't be a felon at all and own a firearm in the U.S. But go back to your point to an extent. I'm actually curious to hear that one.
Yeah, it's just like, I've heard at gun shows. I can't confirm it because
Right.
I've never been, but I've seen like videos where people like,
Mhm.
hey, I want to buy a gun, and
Right.
like an hour later they have it, even though they've done nothing. At least that's what I've seen. I don't know. Like you have a different point of view, so I want to hear that.
Um, I I legally have a firearm,
Mm.
right? Because in Texas and in Florida, if someone buys you a firearm, it's the same way in Georgia. There's like a gift system. So if you're under 18, they
Wait,
have
is
to
it a
have
handgun or like a rifle?
a handgun.
Oh, okay.
I don't carry it because that's not legal. I'm not 21.
Yeah.
But anyways, enough of that. You can but like I'm not old enough to buy a handgun legally.
Right.
It can be gifted to me by someone who is eligible, but I can't go in a store and buy one. I will say that something that's a touchy one for me. Something that can be used to defend yourself in that sense, or for what hunting or what have you. You should be able to go get it, but in the times we are now, maybe I'm not gonna say there should be, but I can see how someone would think like maybe this should go a little, maybe there should be more to this.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, that's not that much of the topic I focus on when I think about it, but I should. I don't have enough for you right now.
Yeah.
On my opinion, but
I believe you should just because even like the mass shootings here in America. There's been
Right.
what like they're averaging one mass shooting every 2 days. Not even a shooting where like one person killed another. Like a mass shooting,
Right.
like multiple people getting
Mhm.
shot down by a person, and most of the time they own the gun legally, or they got it from their parents.
Right. See, the statistics for that are the last time a survey was taken in 2017. But
Like official
yeah,
survey?
yeah, an official survey. I believe it was the FBI. Don't quote me, but the shootings that happen every day, like people say, so amount of people die in the United States by gun violence, right? What they don't account for are people legally defending themselves,
Yeah.
lawful shooting by police officers, accidental shootings, that just happen by ignorant people. Not ignorant in a negative sense, but just like not being aware of what you're doing.
Like that lady that got cut off and she gets shot.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
the other way around.
Right. And then like suicides. in America, right? The murder limit by people who legally own guns is a small percentage of that murder. And the thing is about mass shootings, when I was in Atlanta, I wasn't in like the best environment. It wasn't like super hood or ghetto or anything. But
It is like that.
It wasn't the best.
Average, but a little
less. A little less.
Yeah,
but,
I know what you mean.
Yeah. But these school shootings and things have been happening in impoverished areas since my parents were teenagers. It's just the fact that now it's come out of the impoverished areas and it's come to like the upper middle class, that these private schools and stuff, or these schools with more money, are getting shot up, you know?
Right.
Because this was happening before because of gang violence or individual beef in schools, right?
Right.
And people were getting hit, but it wasn't that big of a deal until now it's coming into like better. It didn't start at the time until it came into higher income neighborhoods.
Then again, with like gang violence, I believe
Right.
it's usually like, like another like a person in a rival gang. So
Right.
it's more or less like, I wouldn't say
There's a
they're
target.
not innocent, but there's a target.
Right.
But like with the mass shootings that are going on right now, it's innocent people.
That's true. It is innocent people, and I pray in my heart.
Like that's the fucked up part of that.
Yeah, it is fucked up, 100%.
Yeah, like with the gang, like I said, there's a target. Like it's still fucked up because
Yeah,
it's another
because you're
human
killing
being.
somebody. Yeah.
But it's even more fucked up when it's an innocent person.
Right.
I'm going out to Walmart and getting milk for my family, or just like doing whatever. And next thing you know, I can't go home anymore.
Right. But here's the situation. How do you prevent that? Because
That's like
cocaine,
the biggest
yeah,
question right now. Yeah.
because cocaine is illegal. Marijuana is illegal in most of the United States. That doesn't. How many people we went to high school that smoke weed?
Shit, I did.
Right. So
I do sometimes.
right. So like most of murders that happen in the U.S. are owned, like I said earlier, by people with illegal firearms. Criminals are gonna. It is easier. I promise you. I know people that have done it. For you to go out and get a gun from a guy off the street than it is to buy it in a store, and you'll get it for less money.
Yeah, no
So
shit.
right. So like the fact that these people are doing these guns that they had legally, if they really wanted to do it, they would have found a way to do it. And they would have found a cheaper way to do it.
Oh, yeah.
And that cheaper way to do it, how they say fast money is bad money? Most of the time, fast money is illegal money. The fastest way to do something, the easy way out in situations like this, is most of the time the illegal way of doing it.
Right.
I still believe in people. I'm not justifying it at all. It's fucked up, and those people shouldn't be on this earth. That's why I'm joining the military, because people like that don't deserve to be on this earth. Wherever there's good, there will be evil.
For sure.
That's just how the world works, yin and yang, But I don't believe that these people that are doing these catastrophic things to innocent souls would be stopped just because legally it's easy to buy a firearm. I don't think it is. Because
I believe that.
Yeah, like making guns illegal is not going to stop murders from happening. Look at the UK. They made guns illegal. What happened? Their knife murder rates went through the roof.
Yeah.
People are always going to find a way to kill people. The murders in society on average, they believe have gone down tremendously.
But they're still out there.
Yeah, they're still out there tremendously since the days when it was just sticks and stones. There was a time where you had a problem with somebody, you guys fought it to the death, and it was over with.
Yeah.
In a lot of cultures, and we're not like that anymore. We don't even have the highest, close to that, not even the top 10 highest murder rate with guns in the world.
No.
We don't. So, I don't know, man. That's how I feel about it. I don't believe, if you have a dog, right? If you have a dog that is untrained, right, or you see somebody with like an untrained, selfish, undisciplined dog,
Right.
are you going to get rid of the dog, or are you going to train the person to teach the dog? how to be a better dog.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't blame the tool, because at the end of the day, when you come up in that situation, some people love to say this, and I know you being another ethnic person will understand, you know, hey, you shouldn't be in that situation to where you need a gun.
Yeah, people will say that.
Yeah, and it's like, well, those people that went to Walmart that day weren't in a situation to need a gun, but I bet you if they would have had a gun, that situation may have played out differently. And the media doesn't help. There was a situation, it's gonna sound really sketchy me saying this.
No,
I can't remember the name of the town, but it happened in Texas last year. This guy
Was it the church?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guy went and threatened the church. What they don't tell you on the media, there was a guy that had a gun, had an AR-15 in his rifle, and shot that guy. So in that situation, to stop more people from dying, the only solution in that situation was a good guy with a gun to stop a bad guy with a gun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's kind of like what I said. Like, it comes to an extent.
Right. Exactly. So people that say that all guns should be banned, I don't get it. Like, I don't think that they have been raised in the environment to understand what it means to be like, I'm born in this world. I didn't ask to be here.
Yeah.
I just showed up one day, and where I end up is depending on who my parents are, who I don't even know. You know, if I'm born in Compton, what do you mean I shouldn't be in this situation? I shouldn't be, but I am.
Wait,
I'm in the situation to where, like, my dad or my mom should have a gun in the house because anybody could try to break in the house and harm me or my family. That's it. Or I should be able to go out and, because it is very hard to conceal a firearm.
Yeah.
It takes a lot in the U.S., at least. And I should go out and be able to defend myself in those situations. It's just point blank, period. Or when people talk about, man, well, you shouldn't need assault weapons. Assault weapons are illegal, okay? Semi-automatic rifles, you shouldn't need those. It's like, you shouldn't need no more than like 7 rounds. Well, a 1911 holds 8 rounds. You know, a Glock holds 15 to 17 rounds on average. So you making that magazine capacity takes away from the point that, like, I can't even own my handgun. And on top of that, handguns in this country kill over 20% more the people than rifles do. And nobody talks about it at all. And that's the truth. Because yes, people are like, okay, well, this happens in bulk. Like, this is like 10 people that what does it matter how many people die at once? People are dying.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
it's like that one fuck thing Stalin said. It was that one death is a tragedy, but multiple is a stat.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a fucked up thing to say, but it's a necessary evil comment. It's the truth.
Yeah, it is true.
You know? That's just not something I can agree on. Like I said, I've seen like violence in action firsthand, not just like being a civilian, you know, and there are times when I've had to separate myself from situations. Now I will say I'm not going to say there's not trigger happy people. There are people that get firearms and that train, you know, Instagram shooters is what a lot of people like to call them. They go on Instagram, they train, boom, 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 fast reload, all the tactical shit. And then a situation happens and you pull your gun too fast when you didn't need to. There's a certain sense of maturity that comes with owning a firearm. The reason why I'm so comfortable with them is because I was raised around them. I have a firearm family, you know.
Right.
I was raised, hey, this thing right here can kill you. Do you understand that? It can kill you. This, like when I held my first gun, I looked at it.
I actually did a similar thing. Like, keep going.
Yeah, I looked at it, and it was a certain sense of, like, power that I'm not sure that I wanted. That's like, man, all I have to do is rack this slide, point this gun at somebody and pull the trigger, and that person's life is gone. That's the power I have in my hands. And it took me maybe a good day of like looking at my gun. I loved it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Looking at it and being like, do I want this power? Like, am I mature enough to handle this power? I almost gave it back to my cousin who bought it for me for graduation. I almost gave it back because I was like, I'm not sure if mentally I'm there yet. And that's what I believe is the problem. Because these people that are just walking in, these normal guys aren't normal. They always have like some sort of depression or
a mental
schizophrenia.
illness.
Yeah. And that comes into it. It's the thing. Maybe we should focus on the mental health going on in America.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, maybe everyone that buys a gun should get a medical screening, or there should be access to your medical history. Well, the government can't access your medical files. That's doctor and patient confidentiality.
Right.
That's like,
yeah, I kind of believe that. It goes into like, it starts getting to like mental health and hospital and drugs and like all of that.
Right. So where does that stop? That's the gut. So if I give you access because whenever you get a license to carry, it goes in a database for United States government. Right. Yeah. So along with that comes along with you not wanting the government being in all your business and wanting to be in control. But then at that point, they have your medical records. Every hospital visit, every procedure, every time you had the flu, measles, whatever. They know about it. That's something else that they know about you.
And that's control.
Exactly. So it's like, where does that stop? Can you stop it at guns? Because you're giving somebody power to do what they want with it. Because at that point, it's like, well, legally, we can look at these medical files. It's not regulated at what medical files we can look into. And if they do become regulated, most people will just look over it. And when it becomes a problem over time, then there might be a bill to be passed to regulate what you can look at medical files. Mm-hmm. And then at that point, are they even doing it? Like, think about it. Like I said earlier, you type 911 on your phone, the government starts listening. You haven't even pressed call yet.
Yeah.
But then they're not supposed to have access to what goes on in personal technology.
Like, even that, when I go to work every morning, my phone knows I'm going. Like, it knows where I'm going.
Yeah. It knows where you're going.
Right.
Whether you have, like, an Android and it uses Google Maps or whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, a lot of people get caught up on Facebook because I personally think, little conspiracy theory, the head of Facebook, I don't know his name.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg. I believe that he has like an under-the-table agreement with the government.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, like an unofficial. Like, hey, man, if I give you all these information about these people whenever you want, you can slide me some money under the table, like unofficially. Because you can't name another site where people are getting sent to jail because of what they post more than Facebook.
That's so true.
Like Twitter, you get banned from Twitter. Instagram will destroy your account. Snapchat doesn't really care. But
Facebook, you're fucked.
Facebook, you're fucked. Even what's the administrator from high school? Mr. I think he was the I-Lead administrator. He had the glasses and he came from Smith.
Cedillo?
Yeah, Mr. Cedillo was telling us a story on that trip to El Paso I was talking about earlier, the tournament.
Yeah.
He was help chaperone. He was telling us how, I didn't know this kid, but this kid from our school just jokingly, which I think is stupid. I don't know why you do it anyway, posted that he was going to blow up the school that morning. Right? Cedillo gets a call from the FBI later that day in his office, and they say, hey, this kid is this age, and this is his name, and he goes to this school, and this is what he posted earlier. So I think you and school law enforcement should handle this situation. And that student was expelled. And that's what Cedillo told me
from
himself.
Facebook.
No, Snapchat.
Snapchat, really?
Yeah, but it's like that's Like, okay, you know where this kid goes to school? You know how old he is? Like, I mean, I get the name that's in the profile, but you know where he goes to school at? Come on. That's got to be something in there. So the government looks at everything we do anyway. They control a lot of what we do, officially or unofficially. So I believe that we shouldn't give, like I said, that sense of independence from the government and that revolt to them. You know, because they're already outnumber us anyway. The government has tanks. They have APVs, anti-personnel vehicles, which is what APV means.
Yeah.
Helicopters, aircraft, all types of stuff. And all we have is, like I said, one thing that can go as fast as you can pull the trigger.
Yeah.
So either way, like, we're outnumbered. We're not out. No, excuse me. We're not outnumbered. The largest standing military force in the world is United States citizen population. And that's just the ones who have registered guns in the world, even more than China.
Yeah.
So, but if you take the guns away from those people, the government can do what they want. All right now, the civilian population has is numbers. And the to be honest, almost to a point to where it's prehistoric way of defending ourselves compared to what they have.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't believe that should be infringed at all.
Yeah. Well, that's a great way to looking at it. Thank you, Nile, for being on here.
Oh, yeah,
it's
man.
It's a great talk.
I appreciate it. It's
man.
great talking to you.
I'll see y'all later.
All right. Bye, guys.